Hi, this is Bill from Pull Yourself to Pieces. We started this podcast to spark conversations, challenge perspectives, and share the extraordinary tales that make life a thrilling adventure. At first, we didn't know how to create a podcast, but after doing research, we found a great online tool that we use to record each show. That tool is Zencastr, an all-in-one podcast platform that works right out of a browser. You can record studio-quality audio and up to 4K video, even if your connection is unstable. Then you can use the tool's post-production features to help you edit those recordings so your podcast can sound its best. And finally, Zencastr can host your shows and help you distribute them to multiple platforms like Spotify and Apple. It's so easy, and if we can do it, so can you. There's nothing to stop you from creating your own podcast right now. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code BillyRay, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
It's the Andy Griffith Show, starring Andy Griffith, Don Knotts, and little Ronnie Howard, who will later lose all his hair and become a world-famous director. All right, enough of that. Welcome to the Pull Yourself to Pieces podcast. I'm here all by myself. Bill has decided to quit. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He sent me a very nasty email and said, "You're on your own, sucker. Good luck." And wait, here he is. No, he's in the. You change your mind?
Yeah.
Well, how come?
Well, because
what?
Well, you know what I said. I've known you for so many years, you know, because I've had no choice because we're related.
Yes.
And even though I figured that even if I didn't do the show, I'd still have to hear from you, you know. So I have no choice. So
I
had to come back. And besides the fact, you know, in about 2 weeks, it's going to be our 3rd year anniversary of the show.
Oh, we're going to have to have an anniversary show.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to start preparing for that, and maybe that'll be the last show.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good to know. I thought
so. We're back here in the studio, and you sound a little better.
Yeah, I was in an echo chamber the last time, and I'm out of that now.
Okay, good.
And you know, it was a padded room, and that's the really
that's what you needed. But yeah,
that's what I needed. Yeah, that's true. So we're back. This is episode 82. Am I correct?
That's correct. 82. Yep.
82 times we've done this.
82. There's like 82 hours. So when you and I are gone, we're long gone.
Yeah.
Someone could discover these 82 hours and go, "What the
hell happened?
What was that crap?"
Yeah, I agree.
You know what? It would be great if we, for our 2-year anniversary, a 3-year anniversary show, if we could get back all the people that we've had on the show. You know, to kind of like a, you know, This Is Your Life thing. You know, where they kind of come on and they'll say, you know.
You mean kind of like the last Seinfeld episode?
Yeah, sort of like that.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Exactly what I was thinking. No, I wasn't thinking that.
So I want to tell you a little something that happened. So you know, I'm semi-retired and I'm doing Uber now to fill in the blanks. And I picked up this young guy, and he was a
when
young
you say
kid.
You picked up a young guy.
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure what I was thinking. All right. Okay.
Hold your horses, buddy. Hold your horses.
Go ahead.
No, it was a rider. He had to go somewhere, so I picked him up, and he got in the car, and he said, "Hey, mister, can you tell me how to get to Broadway?" I said, "Practice, son, practice." No, and his name is Chris, and we started talking, and oh my God, I was talking to myself. We have a lot in common.
What? Wait, 2 of you?
2 of us.
Oh, well, I can't imagine that.
He's a musician, and guess what, Will? You're not going to believe it.
He plays the drums.
No, he's actually coming on the show today. He's going to be a guest on the show. Yeah.
Oh, we got a guest on the show.
We got a guest on the show, and
all right, cool.
And there'll be some more surprises later. But
okay,
I think at this point, let's take a break and see what happens next.
Okay, all right, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Pull Yourself to Pieces will now give you about 30 seconds of silence in order to get our dead air out of the way and to have a smooth flowing show. Here we go.
For the 82nd time, I'm going to ask you.
Oh my God.
Are the microphones off?
Oh God. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying not to listen to you for the 82nd time.
Oh, that's
because
just rude.
Yeah,
That's
because this is supposed to be a part where
What?
we're not having any talk. Nothing's going out over the air. Okay, we're
What?
not recording. Whatever you're saying to me,
Yeah.
whatever I'm saying to you, is
Yeah.
strictly in the studio. It's not
Okay.
being recorded. The record button is not lit. You know, a little red light that goes on. It's
Right.
not on. Okay.
Well, I don't know who to turn to. I figured you're my
I'm
brother.
sorry. Wait. What? What?
I don't know who to turn to with this,
Oh,
but
you sound serious.
you know, as I get older, I'm having a problem with Ed.
Ed?
Yeah.
Ed? Like
I'm having a problem with Ed. Yeah.
Ed?
Yeah. I mean,
The letters ED? Ed.
No, Ed. No.
Ed.
Well, I, you know, look, any way you want to spell it, it's, you know, I'm having a problem with Ed, and it's
Ed.
very, yeah, it's very disappointing.
Have you spoken to somebody about this?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you know, every week, but
every
every
week, huh?
It just falls on deaf ears. You know, I don't.
What are you talking to the neighbors?
No, not the neighbors. No.
Oh,
but, I mean, it's really no big. Well, it is kind of a big thing. Yes, you know, I wish it
sure.
wasn't.
I mean, it's kind of personal. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, I'm the one, you know, that's got to shell out the money for this. You know, and I'm getting no results, Bill. I'm getting no results. You know, none.
Money. I didn't know. Well, I didn't know you had. I didn't know you had to pay for it. I thought.
Well, yeah, it's not free.
Oh.
I mean,
it's not.
Is it a lot to ask that it just grows? Why can't I get it to grow, Bill? You know.
But if this is really important to you, you know, you're getting older. I mean, as you know.
Well, what does that have to do with it?
Well, maybe things could just sort of take care of themselves, if you know what I mean. Like
how?
Well,
look, every week the guy who cuts my grass, Ed, he comes and he cuts the grass so short it doesn't grow. What the hell am I going to do?
Wait a minute. What?
Oh, you know what? I think our time's up.
Oh, okay. All right. This is Bill, and you're listening to Pull Yourself to Pieces, the podcast, hosted on Anchor. You never heard of Anchor? Anchor by Spotify is a podcast host platform, and it's an easy way to make a podcast. We picked Anchor because they have everything we needed all in one place. You can record and edit a podcast from your computer or even right from your phone. Then you can have your podcast distributed easily to multiple platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and much more. And did I mention it's free? That's right. Anchor is free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
And we're back.
And we're front.
I see you went into the men's room. Did you wash your hands?
Well, maybe I only had to, do number
one. I'm sorry I asked.
Okay.
All right. So, our special guest has left the green room and he is now in our studio. A gentleman from Richmond, Virginia, named Chris Newcomb, who is an up and coming musician. Cool. I've heard one of his songs. It's absolutely hysterical. It's the type of stuff that you and I would do, Bill, and it's like he's the brother from another mother. So let's have a big, warm welcome for Chris Newcomb, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There he is.
Thank you.
So,
Chris, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for
being here.
I'm excited to be here.
So let's try and get a little bit of background. Sorry. How long have you been in Richmond?
I was born and raised in Richmond, so I've been here since last century. So
a native from Richmond. That's cool.
Yes, I am a native.
There's a lot of transients in Richmond. Not a lot of people are actually from Richmond that live in
transients. Richmond. Is that the people with?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those are bums. Yeah, those are the people that ride the box.
Right.
Anyway.
God.
Anyway, so so Chris, who was like one of your very first musical
influences?
Influences. Yeah, that's the word.
Oh, it's definitely Cardi B.
Cardi B.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
really?
She just
He's laughing.
kidding. She just
He's
came
like, he's
out.
pulling our leg.
No,
He's pulling our leg.
my parents gave me 3 records as a kid: a Kiss record, an Elvis record, and a Kenny Rogers record. And so, like, I got
Cool.
rock from Kiss, and I
Yeah.
got kind of the R&B / rock from Elvis, and then the
Yeah.
storytelling and country from Kenny. So, but
Cool.
Kiss took they won hands down. All I saw was Gene Simmons with his the tongue out and everything. I'm like, that's the one. That's the band right there.
What if I can ask, what album was the Kiss album? Was it the Kiss Alive album?
It was actually they got me a it wasn't it
Wasn't the live album?
No, it wasn't Alive. It was and it's actually a pretty polarizing record for Kiss fans. They either love it or they hate it. And it's I'm drawing a blank on it, which isn't helpful.
What did the cover look like?
That's okay.
It's a cartoon.
Okay.
Unmasked. Unmasked was the name of the record.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
you got the later version of Kiss, not the early version of Kiss.
Yeah, but then I went back and I got Alive 2, and I got Alive 2 because my parents, this is great. It was like my 8th birthday, and I guess the Christmas gift that year was going to be like the red dirt bike every guy wants,
Yeah.
And they went down, my parents went down to Williamsburg, and they found this Kiss trash can for like $20.
Yeah.
And it was a Kiss Alive 2 trash can. On one side is them posing, and on the other side is a shot of the live Kiss 2 set. So
Yeah.
I literally have a picture of me that Christmas morning, down on my knees, looking at the Kiss trash can with my face just like, it's the greatest thing ever. And
Wow.
the red dirt bike's behind me, and I'm not even giving it a blink of an eye. I don't even care. I'm like, Schwinn, what? I'm like, Gene Simmons, man, that's what counts.
Excuse
they were like,
me, may I
we
cut
just
in
believe
for a moment, please? This is Gene Simmons. I'd like to know if you have the permission to speak about Kiss, the greatest rock and roll band in history. Because
Is that Kanye?
no, it's Gene Simmons.
Well, I know Gene because it charged me.
And it sucks. My impression really does suck. Sorry.
I thought you were
Charges for
Kanye.
everything. So Kiss really did it for me. Kiss, because they were like larger than life, like superhero, kind of like musicals, superheroes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had never seen anything like that.
Like super demons.
Yeah. I was like, this is like evil, like loud rock evil. Rock on. I want this. It's what I want to be a part of. My dad's listening to like jazz. So, my stepmom's listening to Debbie Boone and my dad's listening to Coltrane. And I'm like, rock and roll all night. I'm like, this is an easy choice, man. This is a really easy choice.
Oh, I've always liked the live version of Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day.
Oh, yeah, who doesn't?
It's
Oh
the
my
best.
gosh.
I mean, even if you don't like Kiss, you got to love that song.
Absolutely.
You know? You have to.
Even if you don't like their songs, you gotta like their performance.
There's
I mean,
not
who
a
else?
Well,
there's not a
look,
band out there today. I would live and die on this statement. There's
It's
not
kind
a
of like the
band
Stones.
out
If you don't
there.
like, even if you don't like the Stones, the performances always are great.
that's true.
There's not a band out there today. I'd live and die on this statement that could hold a candle to Kiss entertainment wise. And they might be better songwriters. They might be more popular or whatever. But when you watch guys come from 50 feet in the air down, a guy spitting fire out of his mouth, literally, and then you see these guys fly across the Coliseum, like you just don't like. Backstreet Boys didn't do that. Nirvana they just skated their tennis shoes.
Right.
Alice Cooper did stuff like that, but on a much limited scale.
Yeah. No, Cooper definitely. But I've gone to Kiss concerts with people, and they were like, "Oh, Kiss." As a matter of fact, my mom went to see Kiss with my wife and I, and we're like 13th row. So I brought some earplugs, trying to be nice.
Yeah.
My mom's like, "I've been to concerts before," and I'm like, "Mom, this is not Peter, Paul, and Mary."
Yeah, really.
Well, Puff the Magic
Yeah,
Dragon,
really.
and I'm like, roar.
Excuse me, but you can't deny the incredible genius of the songwriting and singing of the Backstreet Boys. I'm sorry.
Of course, I have all the posters.
sarcastic.
So we're standing there, and my mom's like, she just was like, "No, I'm not going to use your earplugs." So, okay, fine. So they have this huge big curtain, black curtain with the Kiss in gray letters, and they always say, whatever city they're in, this is Portsmouth. Portsmouth, you wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the world, Kiss. Boom, and then the curtain falls. This particular tour, it looked like a metal spider, and Kiss was up in the center of the spider, and they came down from the ceiling playing the riff to Psycho Circus. I'm like a kid in a candy store just giggling. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Ah! And then we get to the end, and on the end, they go out on these like little like, I don't know what you call them, like cranes where they go out, Gene and Ace and Paul go out over the crowd. And I'm on Gene's side. And I've been on that before, but it never comes close. And he keeps coming closer and closer and closer. And he gets like 10 feet from me, directly in front of me and above me. I don't curse in front of my mom. I did that day because it was 110 decibels and she wasn't going to hear it.
Yeah, really.
And I'm going, oh my gosh, beep, it's Gene Holy, beep, son of a beep. It was the coolest thing ever. Then afterwards she goes, I don't know if I like that Gene Simmons. I go, why? She's like, well, because when I watch his show on A&E, he's not like that. I'm like, Mom, he's in his mansion. This is his job.
Right. He's performing.
This is what he does.
Right.
This is his day job.
Spitting blood and
Right.
that tongue. La, 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 la. Why is he doing that? La, la. And then she goes, and it was really loud.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, I gave you earplugs, Mom.
Yeah, well.
Right. I got a question. 100 years from now, are people going to talk about Elvis? You know, they're going to talk about, the 50s music, or is it just going to be, is it going to slowly be forgotten?
Well,
as each generation.
It's going to become classical music like what we listened to in the 1800s and the early 1900s.
Yeah.
This will become classical music.
Imagine though, I thought about that once, think about the classical pieces like, your Mozart, let's say, and you write, Marriage of Figaro, great piece of music.
Right.
And you come to the big concert, bang, nail it. Everybody's, Mozart, this is great. And then you go home and you can't listen to it because recording is not going to be made for a couple 100 years. You never get to hear what you just did.
Everything's live one time.
One time. I was like, for some of the most massive, incredible pieces of music written, those guys never got to hear it again unless they performed it again.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so true.
That's true.
My gosh.
Isn't that wild?
That's true.
Yeah, no, that is. Wow.
All right.
Wow.
I can listen to my songs all the time, but nobody's like, hey, it's Mozart, it's Chris Mozart.
So, Chris, what instruments can you play?
My first instrument is bass, and then I play electric and acoustic guitar, drums, keyboards, and sing.
Oh, wow.
Wow. God,
so you're a one-man show. So, like,
Well,
do you have other musicians with you, or you just, like, do everything yourself?
I do everything myself. I'm playing.
Cool.
So I'm recording my first record, and I play everything on it. Because
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big Prince fan. And, Prince always recorded everything on his records. He played all the instruments. He could play 27 instruments.
Right.
So one day I was sitting with a friend and I said, all right, that's it. I'm going to learn to play more instruments than Prince. And he's like, ha, ha, ha. And I go, no, I'm going to make a list. So I got a piece of paper, started making a list, right? All I had to do was pull up the percussion section in the symphony, and I won. I got 31 instruments. And I'm talking like wood blocks, triangle.
Oh, that's cheating, Chris. That's cheating.
Wow.
Triangle.
Lead triangle, mind you. It's you got three sides you got to pick, right?
31. Yeah, right.
Ray,
you know what I want to see? I want to see when Chris has to go do a concert and he's got to run around and do all 31.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
My friend goes, foot stomping, that's cheap. I'm like, no, it's not. Queen. Doom, 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 right? Another one bites.
Right.
So anyway, I always said if I were to do a record, if I was blessed to be able to do a record, then I would want to record everything on it. Really as a personal goal, not to be like, oh, hey, look, I recorded it, because I'm not the first guy to do that, but just the satisfaction and fun.
Understood.
Being able to do it. And it's been a labor of love and hate at the same time.
Yeah, so you can imagine when Chris and I were in the car and I was taking him to his destination, we started talking and all the stuff that we had in common. I was like talking to myself. He's done some stand-up.
Don't you do that anyway?
What?
Talk to yourself? Don't you usually talk?
Yeah, he's done some stand-up. So tell us about your stand-up gig.
So I just did my first stand-up not too long ago. I've been told since I was a kid that I should do comedy. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And I was in another competing Uber car before I met you, Ray. And that guy was a stand-up comic, amateur stand-up comic. And we started talking. And he was like, hey, because I said, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing that. What's it like?" Blah blah blah. And he's like, "Well, hey, why don't we stay in touch and we can be like comedy buddies and we can work out our stuff, try out our material with each other." So okay, so we went and grabbed some lunch one day, and I started helping him with his bit, and then I've been sharing some of mine with his and with him, and really, it's just in a former life, I was trained, public speaking. So that part's easy for me. The part that's the hardest part, of course, is landing the joke correctly,
Yeah.
and landing it with the right audience.
Right.
That's the tough part. But I have a comeback for that though. If you do something and you're like, blah, 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 and they don't laugh, you go, well, I thought it was funny. And people will laugh at that. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Or you go, like, it's not my fault you're dumb and don't get the joke.
Wow. So tough love for you, huh?
Right.
Tough love. I got it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for paying for money for me to tell you how much you suck.
Yeah. Wow.
That's kind of an Andrew Dice Clay kind of thing.
Yeah. You're an angry comic. Yeah.
That was his whole shtick. So, so I'm kind of working on that on the side, just as a fun thing, to do. But I'll tell you this one story. So I'm at the bar, the stand-up thing, and for some reason, all comics before me, like 4 of them, brought up the restaurant Hooters. And so for those of you that don't know what Hooters is, it's basically a burger joint with girls with really tight shirts on who fake you out and be like, "Hi, baby, what would you like?" They don't really like you. And so I went one time with my friend and his wife to watch pro wrestling, which is neither wrestling nor pro, but that's beside the point. And I went to the bathroom and I came out and there was this lady from Hooters who was completely hammered, standing in front of me, yelling out loud, "Does anybody know the effing 10 Commandments?" Like screaming it. Well, excuse me, I used to be a pastor. So I'm standing there and I'm going, well, actually I do. Right. And she turns around and she's like, "Do you know the effing 10 Commandments?" And I go, "Yeah." She, "What are they?" I get to like 4 and I blank out. She's like, so she starts going, "Greed, sloth, envy." I'm like, "No, those are the 7 deadly sins." She kind of pauses, gives you that drunk, like, I don't know where I am look, and then goes,
"Yeah,
you don't know the effing 10 Commandments," and turns around, stumbles off, and keeps yelling in the restaurant, "Does anybody know the effing 10 Commandments?" So I'm thinking to myself, this would be a really great sermon story.
Yeah.
And as soon as I say I was at Hooters, they'd fire me. So I never got to use it.
Oh, conflict of interest.
You could do that in stand-up.
Right. Yeah. I did. I used that.
Right.
So I that's the story I told when I did stand up. And people were like, so afterwards I sat down, the guy goes, I don't think we expected a former pastor to be here. And I said, "Well, touche. You didn't see it coming, did you?"
Wow. So tell us how you got tell us how you came up with this great song you're going to sing for us today.
It was a complete joke. I had a friend in Ireland. It was his birthday. And I just came up with this concept of, the song's called Traffic Jam. And so I wrote a little chorus and sent it to him, and in my best Irish accent, which wasn't funny. And then the piece of paper got covered up for 8 years, literally. And then one day I was going through my lyric sheets and I found it, and all of a sudden the entire song downloaded in my head. And it's basically making fun of stereotypes. When we are caught in traffic, we rubberneck and we look at people next to us, and sometimes we make up stories. Like, I see a guy goes by, huge guy, looks like he kills people for fun, and his bumper stickers like, "My hobbies include kickball." And and you're going, "No, dude, I didn't have you doing kickball. I had you killing people, and you're completely off on your story of who you think they are." So it's very tongue in cheek, and it's just poking fun at that. And I tell people that if they hear themselves in the story, in the song, listen closely, because I'm there too. So, I'm fair game as well.
Okay.
And that's how the song came to be. And so I've been driving, taking Ubers for like 3.5 years, and I've been testing it with Uber drivers for 3 years.
Well, it piqued my curiosity. I thought it was great.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's been pretty fun to hear they're like, "Yeah, I know exactly what that's like." And then they'll tell me, "I saw this guy the other day and I thought he was like, whoa."
All right. So
Hey, you know what?
what?
That could be like a whole nother way of just be able to perform. Just perform in Uber.
Yeah, like
I
Debbie
actually
Boone,
pulled out.
like Tiffany used to go to the malls. Chris is going
Yes,
to just perform in the back seat of Uber drivers.
Right.
I literally, this is a true story. I was sitting in the back seat, and the Uber driver was telling me how much he wanted to play guitar. So I pulled out my acoustic in the back of the guitar the seat and started playing guitar while we were talking. I get out and I'm telling him like this one little thing to do, and he's like, "I'm never going to remember it." I was like, "Look, get out your phone and video my hand on the guitar, and I'll talk to you while I'm doing it." And he videoed it, and then he goes, do you have a card I can get your autograph?"
Wow.
I'm like, "What, dude? I'm just showing you how to do a G chord." But
Jeez.
true story. He was like, "This is great, man. I'm going to go home and learn." I was like, "Hey, whatever it takes."
Whatever it
Yeah,
takes. Exactly right.
Were you, Chris? Were you, all self-taught with all the instruments, or did you play some in school?
I'm self-taught. I took bass lessons, and
Okay.
I went. It's so great because I'm not just a white guy. I'm a redhead, so I'm the whitest white guy. And I had an African American teacher, and I went to him and I was like, "Hey, this is like 1987. Can you teach me how to play Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls?"
Yeah.
And he's like, let's do Motown. And I'm like, "Motown what?" And he's like,
Yeah,
he's like,
down what?
"Yeah." He's like, "Just work with me, white boy." So
Yeah.
I wanted to be a drummer, but my parents wouldn't buy me a set. So when one day he teaches me how to do funk and pop and slap, I was like, "This is the coolest thing ever." So I come in one day, I'm like, "Mike," and Mike was really laid back, almost kind of like a stoner, but not really. He was like, "What, man?" It's like, "Dude, I found this new band, man. Have you heard of them?" He's like, "What are they called?" "Sly and the Family Stone." He starts laughing. He's like, "Let me dust off my records."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so I hated bass until I discovered funk, and then when I discovered funk, that changed
Yeah.
everything about liking bass.
Oh yeah.
And then when I was in graduate school, I started teaching myself guitar, and then I accidentally figured out how to write songs. Literally, I was looking at a YouTube video about guitar, had nothing to do with songwriting, and the guy
Huh.
was talking about a certain musical phrase or a scale, and I said to myself, if you're not like Billy Joel and you don't hear melodies in your head, but you have like a guitar riff and you have this scale, you can write a song. And so I tested my theory and it worked. Clearly, it wasn't a hit. And then in about a year, I wrote about 100 songs.
Oh wow.
And I just had all this music inside of me I didn't know I had. So I just, got up every day like 5 in the morning before I go to work and start writing. And then I started hearing melodies in my head. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and hear melodies and stumble into my office and be like, blah, 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 into my phone and then go back and fall asleep and try to figure it out the next day.
Wow.
So you got a repertoire of well over 100 at this point.
Yeah, probably about 150, I guess. Something like that.
Wow,
So,
that's prolific.
yeah.
And
Jeez.
this song that you're going to be doing for us is something more recent, or is it's one of the older ones, or
This is an older one. This one I wrote. Well, this is 8 years. No, it's probably a decade now.
oh wow.
And I it's going to go on the record. So the record
Well,
is called Chasing Destiny.
we're dying to hear it. So can you play it for us?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Let me just.
We're gonna get a little unplugged acoustic version here, right, Ray?
Actually, it's an electric guitar. So
Okay. Well,
so yes and no.
Okay.
electric. Yeah.
All right, here's Chris with his song Traffic Jam. Take it away, Chris.
Thank you. I'm sitting here in a traffic jam. I don't know if I'll make our plans. I'm wondering where you are. You're so near and yet so far. The people next to me, they seem so interesting. I wonder who they are. So I'll just stare into their car. Creeper, oh stereotypically, who do you see in a traffic jam? In a traffic jam, I can stare at you in a traffic jam. You're gonna feel awkward too in a traffic jam. Nobody's coming for you in a traffic jam. I guess I'm stuck with you. Hey, big man, you drop that donut from your hand. Well, I'm hangry. So why don't you save one for me? Hey, black man, I'm lighter than you 'cause I can't tan. Redhead, you can't hear me. I'm jamming to Run DMC. Tricky, 6 o'clock gridlock. Why have we stopped? And man, it's so hot. AC on the fritz. Somebody save me from my crying baby. Excuse me, lady. Will you let me in? Hey, DJ, you're playing my favorite songs all day. I thank you for who you are. Someday I will sing like I'm a star. Hey, college kid, what's up, man? Not much. You're hungover from what you did. The stickers on the back of your car, they tell me who you are. Oh, ain't it funny what we think in a traffic jam? In a traffic jam, I can stare at you in a traffic jam. You're gonna feel awkward too in a traffic jam. Nobody's coming for you in a traffic jam. I guess I'm stuck with you. Backed up on the 10. Here I go again. My road rage at an all-time high. Slow in the fast lane. I need a lane change. That guy's so strange. Dude. Hey. Soccer mom. Your kid's in the back, been there too long. Well, you're smoking hot to me, but I bet they gotta pee. Oh, stereotypically, who do you see in a traffic jam? In a traffic jam, I can stare at you in a traffic jam. You're gonna feel awkward too in a traffic jam. Nobody's coming for you in a traffic jam. Well, I guess I'm stuck with you. We're all the same, with different stories. No one's to blame but that guy ahead. Can't you see my blinkers on? Let me in before I do something wrong. Go around, idiot, go around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Traffic Jam live on the Pull Yourself to Pieces podcast. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Funny, man. That's good.
That's great. I love it.
I have
It's very. It's like I like it. It's you're. I mean, you're playing. You know,
It's
acoustic.
catchy too. Very catchy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
And easy
it's
to dance to.
yeah, thank you.
The style is it's like folksy in a way to
Yeah.
me, like folk, but still like, you know,
He sounds a
Like
little bit like a
pop.
very young Bob Dylan.
yeah, but better.
Yeah, no,
I'll take that and run.
don't say that. Bob Dylan is the worst.
I'll take that and run. Yeah, it's actually when you listen to the track, it has a full band behind it with distorted guitars and the whole. So it's like
Yeah.
on the acoustic, it has, you know, like you're saying, kind of that folksy thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's a lot of fun to sing and, you know, make people laugh, and it's kind of like
It's
I have a couple.
Yeah, it sounds like like the audience can actually join in once they start learning the lyrics and everything. It's like one of
Oh, yeah.
those
Oh, yeah, it's that kind
No?
of song. Yeah.
like answer
Sing
you.
along. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I've
catchy
had
riff.
people
It's-
sing along, and that's always cool as a songwriter. Whenever, you know, 'cause
Yeah,
there's-
that's great.
you know, when people, you know, I think about all the music that's affected my life, lyrics or you know, melody or whatever, and it's just when you can do that for somebody else by writing a song, it's really great. It's a cool feeling.
Yeah, that sounds like a classic song that would go on for like
Yeah,
Dingle, you know,
definitely,
like
yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
absolutely.
got a question, Chris. When you said this is going to be coming out, is it just the one song? Or are you planning on doing an album?
Oh, it's a whole album. It's 14 songs.
That must have been it must have been interesting for you to decide out of that repertoire you have what 14 songs you wanted to do.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm releasing it with my first book together. So it's I had a song called Chasing Destiny, which was the title track, which I wrote in 2013. And I finally got that recorded, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. And originally I was going to call the album Experiencing Imperfection because I have a song the same title. And then I was like, this is going to be kind of a rock record. And I thought, well, Chasing Destiny is a cool thing. And I work in mental health, so as a coach, so I help people, make different decisions in their lives and, decide to go after goals and dreams. So that's kind of the idea behind the record. And personally, I'm a big fan of Bon Jovi, and a lot of Bon Jovi songs are very much about you can do it, go after your dreams in life. And sort of some of that in this record. And there's some ballads. I have one song called All Over But the Leaving. And then I thought, well, it would be really great because most albums will have a breakup song, but they don't have a get back together song on the same record. So I decided to write an answer song to it. So the breakup song is All Over But the Leaving, and the get back together song is Let's Try This Again.
Cool.
Where they get back together.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. My personal life. Yeah.
You could definitely do a whole album on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Raise, break up, and get back together. Yeah.
And I have one song is already mixed and mastered. It's called Name Your Silences. And that song's about naming the places in life. It sounds really serious, but it's not meant to be that way. It sounds like, it's like naming the places in life you don't want to talk about. Maybe it's a goal or a dream you're afraid to talk about, or something that's on your mind. And when you do, life gets better and you feel better, you kind of get stuff off your shoulders. So, and that's got is mixed and mastered. But I'm really fortunate because the guy that's mixing my record is out of Santa Monica, and it literally fell into my lap. A friend of mine sent me this guy's home. He makes home video tutorials for people to record at home. And I watched the video, thought it was cool. And then I went to his website on a whim. Turns out the guy is a mixing mastering engineer with the Foo Fighters. And he got the Grammy for their Concrete and Gold record that Paul McCartney played on. And I'm like, well, no wonder the guy's videos are good, right? And I had no idea who he was. Really? And then he's like, well, I work with independent artists. So totally on a whim, I sent him 2 of my songs, and he wrote back. He's like, I like your songs. I want to mix your record. And I about fell out of my chair.
Wow,
a stroke of luck.
Yeah, it's totally God thing. It's very cool. Like never saw it coming. And so I've been working with him, and it's been a fun and humbling experience to really work with somebody who's, got the ears of 20 years of working with really great records and trying to help me sound, like, a contender to some degree. Right. So I'm just, it's all icing on the cake because I didn't say this in my story, but when I was 17, I had tendonitis in both my wrists, and they told me I would probably never play again. So for me to be on a podcast from meeting Ray and, seemingly randomly in an Uber to talk about a record I'm going to put out. Yeah. That's a huge deal because, I was told, you probably won't play again.
You proved them wrong there, buddy.
So
listen, I still have the song going through my head.
I know. It's catchy.
I'm not kidding.
When Chris
really
got out of my
song, I really liked it.
When I dropped Chris off and he got out of my car, I was actually, playing that thing, da, 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 over in my head because it's a catchy tune. It really is.
And the book that I'm doing is called Chasing Destiny, and each chapter will have one of the songs from the album lyrics on the facing page, and then it'll talk a little bit about how the song came to be, and then a life story of mine that relates to it, and then something for the reader. So, like for Name Your Silence, or for Chasing Destiny, that it's going to be, everybody has a destiny. What's yours? And if you don't know what it is, if you're breathing, you can still find it, and you can chase it, and you can go get it. And what could you do today that would make the opportunity to go get that dream closer to your reality? Who can you talk to? Who come alongside you and support you and try to inspire, something for the reader, because nobody's waiting for my record or my book, and I want to give them value when they read it.
Let's go from really good music to what I'm calling bad music everywhere.
All right.
And what I mean by that is It seems every single store, gas station, restaurant, um, um, uh, store that sells clothing, there's music playing. And it's all the time. It's nonstop. Whether you're outside, like a Wawa or a Sheetz, pumping your gas, there's music coming out of the speakers right above your head. And you know, I'm an older guy. I grew up listening to music from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s when music was good. But the stuff I'm hearing, it's basically, I don't know who these people are. It sounds like it should be dance music. And here it is. It's, 7 o'clock in the morning, and dance music is blaring at me out of some speaker while I'm pumping gas. And I'm thinking, why? Why must I be subjected to bad music everywhere? So, am I the only person that feels this?
No,
Am I?
me too.
Yeah, yeah. Everywhere you go into a restaurant, there's bad music playing. Everywhere.
I yeah. I'm
And-
curious to hear what Chris has to say. I have a comment too, but I want to hear what Chris has to say.
So as a songwriter, I have to tread lightly because I could be bad music somewhere to somebody. Hey, you heard that
Right, it's
song,
subjective,
Traffic
right.
Jam? What a dumb song.
Right,
Yeah.
can be subjective. You're right.
So, it's totally subjective, but there are songs and I pick on this song, but you probably heard the song WAP. I won't go into what it is, but by Cardi B. Are you guys familiar with that song?
I've stopped listening to the radio in the mid '90s, so I have missed decades.
Okay, so there was
hip hop music.
Something about
I
her
know-
playing with
I know
herself
nothing.
or somebody banging her from behind or something like that. Right?
it's wet ass vagina essentially, but switch it out and
Disgusting.
you
That's
use the
a
P
song.
word.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and it was number 1 in the nation.
Oh God.
So
Wow.
That's scary.
it's very
Wow.
scary. So I said to myself, I told my wife, I go, I'm going to write a song called WAP. She's like, well, she already did it. I go, no, I'm going to write my own. I'm like, I'm going to call it Weird Ass Penis. She's like, she's
Wow.
like, what? I go, that's my whole point. It's that stupid. Anybody can write that song in 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was
Right.
listening to it one day, and I'm going, so let me get this straight. You got in a room and you were inspired. I need to write a song so everybody in the world knows that I have genitals. Oh my
There you
God.
go.
Thank goodness somebody got inspired. I mean, because
Yeah.
I was worried that maybe you didn't. I mean, sit down and say, oh, life's okay. Cardi B has a vagina. Thank goodness. Okay, we're good. We can go home. I don't get it.
These
And
days,
then-
you never know who's who, what's what.
no, you don't. You
That's
don't.
right.
You
That's
don't.
true.
I think what I have found is it's the lowest common denominator right now. Amongst
Yeah.
artists, people write to be on TikTok. They write to go viral, but
Yeah.
they don't write. A lot of them don't write for what they feel and what they think, and let it land where it's going to land. Like I have no idea when I write a song who it's going to affect, who it won't, who will like it. But I know I have to like it first. And if I like it, then anybody else liking it is icing on the cake, and it's great.
Got it.
But a lot of people, when a lot of artists are afraid to write what is there, and so people ask me, like, when you write your songs, how do you write them? I'm like, I write what the song calls for. The song will tell you. You'll start writing it and you'll start knowing, okay, this is going to be this kind of song or that kind of song. So when I hear songs out there, I subscribe to the John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora School of Songwriting, which says this: you can have any amount of instruments in a song, and if you boil it down to 2 acoustic guitars and you can still sing the melody, it's a good song.
Huh. That's interesting.
And think
Yeah,
about that.
but
Wow.
Sadly, I'm hearing bad music. I'm hearing just what I consider bad music, and of course, it's my opinion. It's my opinion, but I just keep thinking, why? Why must music be played everywhere I go? I'm not desperate for music.
But
You know?
if I know, Ray, you'll never do this, but if you would join Spotify and you decided to listen to, stuff from the last 10 years,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. All of a sudden you'll come across them and you'll go, that's not so bad. You would never have heard that. And,
Yeah.
Ray and I and Ron too, all of us, we come from a time when, remember the time when it was so weird? We'd be listening to something on the radio. This just broke, this song, guys. And if you lived in a certain area, you lived on Long Island, we were all hearing that song at the same time because that was
Yeah.
the only way you could hear it.
Because
It was an event. Right. A new album would come out and it was an event. It was like, you know what I'm saying? We don't
Yeah.
have that now. We don't have that
Yeah.
ability now.
I personally feel that the 70s was the best decade ever of music.
You're probably
great
right.
one. It was a great
You're
one.
probably right.
It's funny. As someone who's trying to break into the industry now, the barrier to entry now is the lowest it's ever been. All you have to have. I mean, I'm recording an entire record in my home studio,
Right.
the whole thing, start to
Right.
finish. Right? If I were to do that in a studio downtown in my town, and I recorded one song 10 years ago down there for 12 hours, I had already written the song. I played everything on it. It cost me $1,000 for one song. So
Right.
this record would be $14,000
Right.
in a studio. That's if
Good
I
point.
can make sure I record every song in one day.
Oh, right.
If you're
Right.
off,
Right.
Because
Right.
if you're off, then you're another $1,000, right?
Right. No, studio
I'm
time,
saving
right.
$14,000 doing it myself. On top of that, you have to do mixing and mastering, which can be another $5,000-7,000. So you're talking $21,000.
Wow.
And it used to be you had to be at a club, an A&R guy had to come down, discover you, blah blah blah.
Yep. Yeah.
I have my own record label and I have my own publishing company, so
Right.
I own everything. The
Right,
problem
right.
is getting above the social media noise.
Yes.
That's
Right.
the
You
problem.
have to stand out.
That is the issue.
How do
But
you stand out?
did you guys ever hear of a guy named Oliver Anthony? He went viral not too long ago. He had a song called "Rich Men North of Richmond."
Yes. Yeah.
He's an hour away from my house. He came from an hour from my house.
Wow.
Right? That
Wow.
guy,
He was like all off the charts, that guy, with that one song.
So you know what happened? He shot a video of him doing that song, literally one microphone stand in the woods with a guitar. That's it.
Oh, wow.
A country music influencer on Instagram saw the video, put it up on his feed, looked at the camera. He has 1 million followers and said to the camera, "Okay, guys, you know what to do. Make this guy a star." And he walked off camera. And within like 30 some odd hours, Oliver Anthony went huge. So much so,
Damn.
Oliver had all 13 songs of his album were on the charts. Only 2
Wow.
artists have done that ever. What
Yeah.
that says to me is if that guy can do it, then I have the same exact odds.
Absolutely.
Well, and my
Yeah.
thought was, if I'm honest, part of me like sits and fantasizes about it, like would ever do anything. And I thought, as a songwriter, you want to write stuff that's universal, that as many people as possible can identify.
Sure.
with. And I'm like a traffic jam. The entire planet has been on a traffic
Everybody,
jam.
yeah.
Pretty
Right.
much.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you're like sub-Saharan Africa, most people, and maybe Siberia, most people have been in a traffic jam. So, I thought, well, I think somebody could relate somewhere. We'll see. But I have a bunch of other verses. So I've decided I'm going to probably do like a hidden track or another, that has other verses. Because I have one that's like, "Hey, short man, you're doing the best you can. Well, I'm not short. I'm 6'4", and yeah, I suck on a basketball court."
Chris just needs an influencer. He just needs an influencer to
That's
to
it.
latch
That's
onto.
it. I just need. I'm just going to stand on the side of the road. Like, can someone be an influencer for me with my sign?
Right.
So, Chris, again, give us the name of the album that's going to be coming out, please.
Chasing Destiny.
Chasing Destiny by Chris Newcomb. Will we be able to, where will we be able to hear this album?
It will be on just about every major platform you can be on. So it's about 30 stores. It'll be on
Gotcha.
Spotify,
Okay.
Apple Music,
Got it.
all that stuff.
All right, fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, it was great having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you for coming. We love the song. It's really catchy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is.
And when you make it big, don't forget your friends. Definitely
I
come
will
back.
not. I will not.
Definitely come back and revisit us and tell us how.
I will not. Yeah, it's funny you say that because I told it to my friends. I go, this is the guy who's not famous saying this. I said, but you see people go out and suddenly something happens. As soon as the head starts getting big, then you start seeing them in the National Enquirer.
Wow.
See Kanye West.
Yeah, see Kanye West. All right, we're going to wrap up this segment. We're going to take a little break and come back with a new special segment that I think everybody's going to love.
Okay.
Take care, Chris. Nice talking to
Okay.
you.
Thank you, guys.
This is Bill, and you're listening to Pull Yourself to Pieces, the podcast, hosted on Anchor. You never heard of Anchor? Anchor by Spotify is a podcast host platform, and it's an easy way to make a podcast. We picked Anchor because they have everything we needed all in one place. You can record and edit a podcast from your computer or even right from your phone. Then you can have your podcast distributed easily to multiple platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and much more. And did I mention it's free? That's right. Anchor is free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
And we're back.
That was great.
That must have been a Billy commercial, and
Yeah.
I didn't get to hear it.
No.
Because I left the studio to go get some fast food.
Fast food, huh?
Yeah, fast food. Anyway, so fast food ties into our next segment in a weird way. And our next segment is dedicated to our dear cousin Ronald, who has been a staple of this podcast since its inception. He has guest starred many times. He has done many voices. And
he's in the studio now.
He's in the studio now.
Yes.
When I went
Yeah.
to and
Beautiful.
hello,
I
Ron.
love what you've done with the place.
Isn't it fabulous? Do you like the big potted plants?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Do you
love
like
the
the-
dinosaur hanging from the ceiling.
How about the
Yeah.
naked sculpture? That's a self-portrait of myself.
The naked Greek art. Yeah.
Yeah.
But why is the penis broken off?
Ray wanted it.
I never mind.
Jesus.
So anyway, when I went to visit Ron in his home, he started telling me about some of the different careers that he's had. And
Yes.
we're gonna let Ron take the stage and tell us about his careers. He actually counted them. So Ron will take the stage, if you will. Tell us how many careers you've had.
68.
68.
careers.
Oh, well, you know what that means. 69 is going to be an
Because
interesting one.
Those are just the 68 are just all the jobs that I've had. But
Okay.
I've had probably 6, 7 or 8 or 9 ones that are worth they probably make you laugh because a lot of crazy stuff happens in those. I figured if you wanted to tell one a week.
We're hoping. Yeah, you have a new segment every week. It's called Ron's Wack Job.
Right. And we could pick, you tell me which one you want to hear about, and I'll tell you a quick story about it.
Well, I would love to hear the one about when you were ferrying some Asians.
Oh, what?
Oh, when I was driving the Chinese guys from the restaurant, I used to pick them up and everything. Yeah.
All right, tell us that story from start to finish, because
Well,
it's hysterical.
I had filled out an application for a job as a driver. I love driving. That's my favorite thing to do. So there was an ad, and it said driver twice a day with a break in the middle. So I said, okay, that sounds interesting. So I find the address. I go there.
What state was this in, this driving job?
Oh, New York.
Okay, New York. Okay.
Long Island. And and I get to the place, and it's this big, beautiful Chinese restaurant, like not your little Chinese takeout place. This is a beautiful restaurant.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gorgeous, really gorgeous. So I meet with them, and I get interviewed, and I get the job. I wind up getting the job. And the thing is you have to, they give you this big, long van with all of these seats in it. You drive into Brooklyn and Manhattan and Queens and pick up at various subway stops the Chinese workers.
The workers. Okay.
There was a total of about 10 or 12 of them. Couple guys, couple girls, really nice, but they didn't speak English,
Oh, okay.
But I would go about 9 o'clock in the morning, drive into Queens first, then Brooklyn and Manhattan to all these stops, and pick them up at their subway stations. They were always, they were right there. And every morning, the same exact thing. They would have a cup of tea and a pork roll. They all had the same thing.
So that was their breakfast.
That was their breakfast, right.
Okay.
And I would pick them up and then bring them all the way back to Long Island and drop them back off at the restaurant, and then come back about 10 o'clock at night and drive them all the way back to their stops and send them home. So it was fun, but it was a little boring after a while because they didn't speak English. And listen, I would put the radio on, and they would ask me to play freaking Chinese rap stations. I'm like, I can't understand any of this.
Oh my God.
So anyway, it started to get a little boring for me. So I started slowly introducing them to Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh.
I would say to them, "Hey guys, do you ever have Dunkin' Donuts?" Ah, what Dunkin' Donuts? No, no, no Dunkin' Donuts. So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna try it." So I stopped and I got like a dozen donuts, and I handed them out to the
Right.
guys. And
Right.
oh my God, they were in freaking heaven. They're like, "Oh,
I love the donuts.
They had the powder all over their lips and all of that. So I picked them up in the morning, drive them back, and then pick them up at night and take them home. And I got to change the radio station. I got to put my music on. Now I'm getting them coffee and donuts, and they're
Coffee and
begging them
donuts.
every morning. They're like, "Oh," and they call me Captain Ron. I was like, "Captain Ron." Now I go starting to pick them up, and they're eating Dunkin' Donuts every day, and they're drinking coffee and
Yeah.
cigarettes and everything like that, and they're not at their spots in the morning. They're late. They're
Uh-oh.
late. Yeah,
Oh,
they're coming in
no.
late.
American.
Oh,
They're not
no.
eating their pork rolls or their tea. They want to go to the Dunkin' Donuts and to McDonald's and all of this stuff. And,
Oh my God.
well,
What you did to them. Oh.
I know. So the owner of the restaurant pulled me aside and he said, "Captain Ron, I have to talk to you." So I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "You, no more Dunkin' Donut for them. No more Dunkin' Donut. No more McDonald's. They get fat, lazy. They don't come to work. They don't work hard."
You Americanized them.
You Americanized them.
Yeah.
They're supposed to, they're all on a budget. So I
Yeah.
guess they provide housing or whatever for them, but they're not supposed to spend their own money. They're supposed to just spend very little money on their little tea and pork roll. I had them spending like $10, $15 on crap,
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Jesus.
So I got in trouble for that, and I corrupted those poor guys.
You
But
did.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
that's
Oh,
one
my
of the ones. I didn't have that job too long.
I can see why.
Yeah, it was fun though. It was fun. I got to make a lot of great friends with them. I couldn't understand them. I guess they couldn't understand me. But
The universal language of coffee and donuts prevailed.
and that's it. That's one of the crazy ones. We got
Oh,
some.
that's a crazy one. That is funny.
What a lot of our three listeners probably don't know about Ron is an amazing cook. He is a gourmet chef.
And one of his jobs was actually running a restaurant, correct?
Yeah,
And how many years did you do that?
2.
2 years, right?
Yeah.
And that was in
Different
North
restaurants a year each.
Carolina. Yes, and that was in North Carolina.
Yes,
Okay.
I wasn't. I was actually part owner of the first one,
Okay.
but that didn't work out too good.
Okay.
I got arrested twice there. So.
You got arrested at the restaurant? Why?
Oh yeah. I went to jail.
No, you're pulling our leg.
No. Seriously, I got arrested. What happened was, you got time for a quickie?
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be 50% partners after a certain amount of money was made in the restaurant. The
Okay.
owner, my partner, put up everything, bought the restaurant, and he paid me a salary, but he owed me under the table another $500 a week,
Okay.
which he kept being late with, never paying me.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
That's
So
bad.
then he hired, and we were doing real good. I mean, this place was packed every night. It had 50 tables in it. So it was a big
damn.
restaurant. Yeah,
Damn.
we did smoked butts, they call them down here, which is pork shoulder, like pulled pork, ribs, chicken. We had a big smoker, right? And then I did all the New York Italian. So it was a New York Italian and Southern barbecue restaurant. It's very unique.
Yeah. Right.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Uncle Jay's Home of the Pulled Pork Parmesan.
Oh,
Awesome.
interesting.
Awesome.
So, and that I actually made with pulled pork without the barbecue sauce, cheddar cheese melted on it. So it was like a Parmesan sandwich. But anyway,
Oh, interesting. Oh, wow.
yeah. But that was just a novelty thing. But we did good pastas, pizza, sausage and peppers, different raviolis, and just incredible. It was doing great. So the owner, my partner, he gets involved with one of the young waitresses. He's a little old guy who looks like Elmer Fudd, and she's a
Oh, boy.
gorgeous blonde waitress who thought
Oh,
who thought he looked like George Clooney, like one of those,
Okay.
because his wallet was really big.
Oh,
I gotcha. Okay.
Sugar
Okay.
daddy. Sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's buying her things and buying her cars, and her daughter's working for us, robbing us blind.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and I saw all this, and I said, "Listen, something's got to stop. Do what you got to do." But I brought my family down here. This is not working out. Anyway,
Yeah.
we had our differences, we had our fights, and I wound up leaving. But he owed me all that money. But
Yeah.
on my way home, after I
Oh, damn.
quit, I had the corporate credit card. So I said he owes me about $1,000. So I went to the ATM and I took out as much as I could, which was 800.
Okay.
And
Oh, okay. And
I
that's how you
know,
got in trouble.
you know,
Ah.
I know.
Right. You were owed. Right.
I'm swimming we lived in an apartment complex down here in South Carolina, and he was supposed to pay the rent, which he did up until then. He wasn't paying anymore.
Ah.
So I'm swimming in the pool with my wife and my daughter, and I get out, soaking wet, and I'm walking to our apartment and our townhouse. Excuse me. And cops pull up, they ask me my name, and I go, "We have to take you in." So I get arrested with
Jeez.
flowered bathing suit,
Oh, God.
and I ask my wife to get me a shirt. She hands me a pink tank top. So I got flowered bathing suit, flip flops, and a pink tank top, and there I am sitting in jail with a bunch of scary characters.
Oh boy!
Oh my God.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just kept my mouth shut, but they were staring at me.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were staring.
Yeah.
And all I could say was, New York. And they were like, "Oh, he must be in a mafia."
Yeah. Dressed like that? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, whatever. But I got away with it. And so I get arrested. And I go, once my wife bails me out.
Yeah.
So I go to fight with him. I go back to the restaurant.
Right.
Now, in the restaurant, I have all my personal pots and pans and knives and things that I like to use.
Boy.
Scales and stuff.
Yep.
So after I went back there, it was about 2 weeks later.
Okay.
He had a whole new kitchen crew in there.
Yeah.
And they were some big tough boys. They were
Oh
big.
boy.
They
Okay.
were dumb, and they were in my kitchen. And I said, "No problem. I'm just here to get my stuff. Just here to get my
Understood.
my personal items,
Right.
So I go in there. I'm gathering up my things, and I have this really, like Ray, that stock pot that you gave me.
Yeah.
I had a one about twice that size, and it was on the stove boiling potatoes. And I told the guys, I said, "Listen, that's my pot. I'm going to need it back."
Yeah.
Oh boy.
"Oh man, that ain't your pot no more. That's our pot now."
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
But all right, man. Just fucking. I'm very serious about my freaking pots and pans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very near and dear to me.
Tools
So
of
I
the
said,
trade.
Take it off the thing and empty it so I can take it. I don't want fucking trouble. And they were like, "No, man, go talk to John. Get the hell out of here." So I said, "Okay." So I walked over there and I kicked it off of the stove, and all the potatoes and the boiling water went all over the place, and the whole fucking bunch of tough guys in the kitchen ran out like a bunch of little girls screaming.
Okay.
Anyway, I cooled off my pot. I grabbed my scales, my knives, and everything. By the time I got out of the kitchen, cops are waiting for me again.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
And they take me back to jail.
This time you had regular clothes on at least, but
Yeah, this time I did have regular clothes.
That's good. Regular clothes is good.
Yeah, and that's that story. But more to come.
Oh man.
All right. So we
More to
should
come.
next week expect another Ron's Whack Job.
Yeah,
Another
we
one
got
of
limo driver, Mexican
well,
guys.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away. Hold on.
Okay.
to it. So
Got it.
briefly, I want to talk about something really quick before we say goodbye.
Okay. What do you got to say?
I call
Get
it
it out, Ray. Get it out.
I call it the decline of fast food.
The decline of fast food.
The decline of fast food. Yeah.
Really?
I remember the days when you go. Well, I was never a really big fan of McDonald's, but I can remember the day you go in and get a Big Mac, and the thing was a Big Mac. It was a big
Tell me
sandwich
about it.
with fresh ingredients, and it actually, if you liked fried, stuff, it wasn't actually a bad tasting burger. A Whopper was. It was huge. It was gigantic.
Huge,
It was
huge.
fresh.
Now they're like White Castles.
Yeah. Okay.
They are
fast
so
food-
small.
Fast food was affordable. and it was actually tasty. Um, and it was made for honestly, let's be honest, it was made for people that were not well off. Okay,
Right, right,
you could get a hamburger for
right,
22 cents
right,
when Burger King first came out.
right. You're right.
And
Right.
yeah, and and you'd bring the whole family, and for $5,
Well,
or less.
remember that you get change back from your dollar. Remember that commercial?
Yeah,
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 yep,
yeah. You
yep.
fed a whole family, and the food wasn't bad. Granted, it's not the best food for you, but at least it was tasty, and there was
No, still,
plenty of
yeah,
it.
loved it.
Fast forward to today, where you're looking at anywhere from 10 to $14 to $15 just for a burger and fries,
Yep.
and for just a
At
few
any
dollars
one of them
more.
too. It's true. At any one of
Anyone,
the
and for a
any one of
few
them. Yeah.
dollars more, you could go into a sit-down restaurant and get a really good three-course meal. You usually get a salad and bread, and so it's no longer cheap.
Nope.
And I've recently been in a few, I'm not going to say, a few fast food restaurants, and I was really disappointed. The food was cold. The burgers were overcooked. They're maybe an eighth of an inch thin.
Oh
So
God,
there's
they're
not
not
a-
even a burger.
Right.
it's just they're put together, they're slapped together. There's no uniformity to the burgers anymore. A lot of times you'll go in, and if there's cold fries in the fryer,
They'll mix them in. Yep.
you're getting them. So no more warm fries. They don't put
And
salt
can I
on
just
them.
interrupt you for 1 second?
Please, yes, by all
I
means.
just recently got McDonald's French fries. One large fries, almost $5.
Oh my
$4
Yeah.
and
Oh my god.
Yeah.
69 cents, I think, for a
Yeah.
large fry.
Wow.
That's right.
And like you said, stiff, cold, greasy. It's just not there anymore, man.
No,
And
it's
first
not
of all, they're
there.
understaffed. There's not even a person behind the counter. You gotta
No.
press buttons at a kiosk.
Yeah, right, exactly. So there aren't even people taking your order. You got to stand there and press buttons. And if you're not tech savvy, this
Oh,
could be confusing for a lot of people.
Very.
And
Yeah.
and so you see more and more. Down here in the South, I see a lot more and more Burger Kings going out of business. They just up and close the store. I just want to say that fast food, I think, has reached its peak. I don't foresee fast food being affordable anymore for people of
No.
low income.
No.
And I think eventually fast food restaurants are going to go the way of multiplexes for cinemas. I have a feeling that
That's
people they're going to stop going.
well, that's possible. What I feel is that for a while now, and probably since we had COVID for
Yeah.
those 4 years, whatever, where it kind of
Yes.
like disrupted life,
Yes.
that I think that nobody wants to cook at home. So it's just the convenience of being able to go to fast food just got to the point where it's like, oh well, it's going to be easy. We're going to go to fast food, and I just make their prices higher and higher because of that, just
Yes.
because it's fast. But you know what though? It's like you said, it's not much different. I mean, a few dollars more, you can go to a diner. A few dollars more,
Absolutely.
you can go
And
to
eat on
a little bit of a
real
better place.
plate, not have to eat in your
Exactly.
car.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we as a society
Yeah.
have added to the fast food situation, and they took advantage of it. They went and
Of
ran with it and
course.
said like, okay, they're loving. Nobody wants to cook at home, so we can keep raising our prices, guys. We
Yeah.
raise our prices and raise our prices,
Right.
and everything prices got raised during COVID
Yes.
because
Everything.
there was shortages and
Right.
there was
Well, there was nobody was buying anything, so they had to make up that minuses on their
Right.
their ledger books by bumping the prices on everything.
right.
And
So
people-
now
and people
we're in
pay
a better situation than that. Prices have gone down. You and I recently talked about how
Yes.
prices have gone down with for like lumber and construction, and
Yes.
and I'm starting to see prices come down on some things in the food stores too.
Yes.
So we're getting into a better place than that. Guarantee we're not going to see any prices go down in these fast food places, not at all.
No,
And
no.
and what's funny is here's a really funny thing. I'm not a fast food eater, and I really don't go to fast food places. And not too long ago, guys, not that long ago, I'm going to say less than 10 years ago, the diners, right? Like you mentioned, like let's say the standard thing, right? A hamburger, fries, a nice hamburger, right?
At a
Fries,
diner.
and a drink,
Deluxe.
right?
The
At a
hamburger
diner, right? A
deluxe.
diner was maybe like $20, right? And now we've come to the point now where it's caught up, practically almost caught up to that at the fast food place.
Yes.
So it's like you're weighing it out and you're going like, do I pull into McDonald's or do I go to that diner? I'm going to wait up just a little bit longer. I get to sit and I'm going to have like a real tasty burger and fries. And
Yes,
I mean,
exactly
why wouldn't I
right.
go? Yeah, why wouldn't I go that way?
Well, that's
You know?
why I believe eventually those fast food joints, that there's too much competition. There's too many fast food joints. There's Hardee's. There's Burger King. There's Wendy's. There's McDonald's.
I don't know how well you remember the movie Demolition Man. Do you remember Demolition Man?
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
the whole joke in there about the fast food wars, and then what
Fast
happens? They
food
all
wars.
become Taco Bell.
Right, Taco Bell.
And it's actually funny because I think you're right. I think in the future that could happen with fast food, but I think there'll be these mergers the same way as we see mergers with other things.
Yeah.
I bet there'll be a merger and they'll become like real fast food restaurants, like a real restaurant, but
Yeah.
fast food.
Maybe,
You
but
know? And maybe the food won't be any better, but
it's-
they'll be. Yeah.
there's too many restaurants. It's like
If you
too many
know,
Starbucks right now.
if you guys remember about probably about 10 years ago, Burger King tried something like that with the fine dining,
That's right. That's right. You're right. Yep.
and
it didn't work,
didn't
did it?
last too good.
No, it didn't
Yeah.
matter. So throw in Arby's, right? Throw in Arby's,
Which is fake meat.
which is fake meat. I never saw gray roast beef before.
Gray
in my life.
roast beef. Well, it's
roast.
shreds put together with a gel. It's gross.
And then
Oh.
you've got Kentucky Fried Chicken, you've got Church's Fried Chicken, you've got
Popeyes, Bojangles,
So again, it's saturated.
Churches. Yeah, forget it.
The prices are astronomical, and the
But
food,
again, I feel like the society helps to feed into this because not for nothing, but a long time ago, all right, one of the few places that was like fast food was that Boston. What is
Boston
it?
chicken.
Oh, Boston
Right.
Market.
One of the few
Boston
places that was trying to be kind of healthy, right? And like
Yeah.
they're gone over here. It's
Yeah,
like-
they're
I think they're gone
Because,
everywhere. I think they're gone everywhere. And they were pretty good. They were decent.
Right,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny, right? You finally come up with something that's going to be healthy, and then the society goes, "Now we want that fast food crap again."
Yeah, we're gonna go to the Colonel and get the deep fried,
Right.
crispy stuff.
Right.
It's sad.
Oh, I don't even
Right.
think that's chicken. I really don't. I don't know what that is.
No, it's chicken, but
It's
No.
raised like by nuclear power plants and shit. I don't know.
I
What
never saw
God.
chicken pieces so large in my life. They're
Oh
all
my god.
Well, what about
Right.
you ever go to Sam's Club or what is it?
yeah. You
yeah,
get
sure.
you
Yeah,
get the-
five-
$5
or-
chickens. They're
It's
like
a size.
70 pounds.
Right.
It's the size of a turkey.
It's bigger than my dog.
Yeah. All right. What do you say we call it a day?
Sounds
Yes.
good, guys.
It's been fun. It's been a great show, and if we don't get to do a show in a week, we're going to be doing our anniversary show. And Ron, look forward to you coming back if you can,
Yes, please.
and we'll talk about old times, and we'll talk about your old jobs and whack.
Yeah, we'll do another Ron's Wack Job segment.
jobs.
Goodbye, guys.
Okay. All right,
All right.
Ray. I will. I'll see you on the next show.
All right, we're going to say goodbye.
Thanks for listening,
All right,
and
guys.
be good to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and hey, everybody, make every minute count out there. We don't have all the time in the world, so
From two old guys. There you go.
right.
Damn. I can't even get up from sitting this long now.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, this is Bill from Pull Yourself to Pieces. We started this podcast to spark conversations, challenge perspectives, and share the extraordinary tales that make life a thrilling adventure. At first, we didn't know how to create a podcast, but after doing research, we found a great online tool that we use to record each show. That tool is Zencastr, an all-in-one podcast platform that works right out of a browser. You can record studio-quality audio and up to 4K video, even if your connection is unstable. Then you can use the tool's post-production features to help you edit those recordings so your podcast can sound its best. And finally, Zencastr can host your shows and help you distribute them to multiple platforms like Spotify and Apple. It's so easy, and if we can do it, so can you. There's nothing to stop you from creating your own podcast right now. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code BillyRay, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Please check out our website, pullyourselftopieces.com.
That's right.
And you can subscribe to the show in Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube, or via RSS, so you'll never miss an episode.
And if you enjoy our show, don't forget to give us a high rating.
And remember to tell your friends about the show.
Thanks for listening to our show, and thank you to freesounds.org and Gottlieb, Audio Mirage, Plastabrain, Cognito Perceptu, FK Prod, Mirage Taser, Shadow Wisp, D-Boss, Viku Seru, Intra Environmental Sound Project, Julian Nicholas, Carmelo Mike, G Kill Hour, 140178 Sound, CMU Sound Design, Alan M.G., Der Super Anton, Eric H2000, Bulbastray, FK Phantom, Ultra Dust, Ada Records, Stuart Colborn, Debroid, Cubidup, GJ, Syntax Seed, Inspector J, Astounded, Madge 061785, Just Invoke, Short Record, Lorenzo Sue, and I'm Mackenzie. CreativeCommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/legal code.